For this design, we're going to be drawing a front view 3/4 and a rear view 3/4 of our design. So I'll start out by marking, both the top and the bottom of the sketch here, and just really quickly blocking in the large masses. And with these two sketches, I'll put them both on the same page, just so then I can see them right next to each other. That way, I'll be able to judge, like where, how the different elements look from different views. And here, we're not really working with a thumbnail. We're just sort of designing on the fly. So as I'm sketching these, I'm working from the exterior of the silhouette and moving into the interior, indicating some detail, moving back out to the exterior and working on the silhouette some more. So it's sort of like this back and forth. Um, I'm not always focusing on one part of the design for any length of time, because what ends up happening is you start to noodle too much. So it's important to just try to keep moving with the design. Try to keep your momentum up. And so as I'm putting these marks down and building this form, I'm thinking of also how I might translate it to a rear 3/4 view. So now I'm really just quickly projecting, um, my the design elements from one leg over to the opposite leg. Now, one thing that I'm not doing here is that I'm not plotting out any grid points. I'm putting marks down to give me a sense of how this object is sitting in space, but I'm not gridding everything out. And that just, I believe that that just sort of comes with experience. As you sketch more and more, um, you start to get a sense of how things sit in perspective. So you don't have to recreate the grid over and over every time. So adding, this large element in the back, I think maybe that might be kind of cool for it to be like some sort of power supply or something. So making sure that any of the details that I'm putting on the form, if they're mirrored over to the other side of the design, like in this case, going from one leg to the next, I'll try to indicate that really quickly as well. So now that we have our front 3/4 view rough sketch, we can start to think about what this machine might look like in a rear 3/4 view sketch. So as you kind of see, my pen move from one design, the right of the page over to the left of the page. That's sort of my way of trying to get a sense of where I'm at in space, and what part of what part of the the geometry that I'm focusing on at that point. What's a little bit nicer about this particular sketch is that I've got a lot of boxy elements, and that helps me kind of it just makes it a little bit easier dealing with simple larger blocky geometric forms. So just making sure that we're not noodling too much in any one area, just putting, indicating, just some small detail bits and then moving on. Now we'll try to have this leg design there be a little bit more shallow and have it look like it's sitting at an angle. So just doing a really quick check to make sure that, you know, um, just to see that our forms are roughly lined up with each other. And just going back in with a lighter value gray marker. And for this sketch, we'll just keep it a really simple value fill. We won't go into defining like the different planes of space so much as we're just filling in the silhouette to have it pop off the page a little bit better. So for me, this is a good exercise to do because it helps you just really be aware of the marks that you're making, and you have a much better sense of what you're drawing. So that has practical applications too, especially if you're working, for a client, or if you're working with a team member, and they have questions about how different parts of your designs. They in that case you can just give them an alternate view. It's a good exercise to be able to work through these problems so that you're not designing a flat image so much as you're working on something that can be built, whether it's a physical model or a 3D model. So just putting a few final touches on this sketch here. So I'd really encourage this type of exercise. Try to, try to as you're sketching something, try to turn it in space. Draw a different view, and put the camera in a different place, and see if you can redraw what the original was, just at a different vantage point. Some small details here and there.